So President Trump signs an executive order that says people living in Section 8 housing, people living in public housing have 2 years to figure their life out. He is quoted saying public housing is something to help you get back on your feet, not something that you should be living on for the rest of your life. Now we know that the president is doing this, and of course everyone who follows him thinks this is only going to affect Black people. This is only going to put Black and brown people on the street. They need to get off of that Section 8 housing. But just like DEI, Donald Trump knows that the people who support him don't have any idea who the vast majority of individuals living in public housing are. Because according to the US Census, the vast majority of people who live on public housing are senior citizens, followed by disabled people, and then third on that list are children. So what type of solution are these people supposed to come up with in 2 years? What type of solution is an elderly person right now going to figure out for themselves in 2 years when they're older and they need to live on that public assistance in order to stay alive? Where are the children going to go? Where are the children going to go who are living on public housing, who are living on public assistance? And how many places are there with affordable rent that are also accommodating to the disabled? What are they supposed to do in 2 years? Once again, this will prove to be egg on the face of this administration. This will prove to be egg on the face of all of these ignorant racists who think that everything that is, considered a resource to help low-income communities only help Black and brown communities. It is actually sort of amazing to watch all of these stereotypes blow back in the face of all these people. For so many years, they were able to perpetuate these messages without having the results thrown back at them in real time. Now it's funny, you hear all these people who voted for Trump talk about how they're tired of being considered racist and they're tired of being lumped in with all these racist ideas. But look at your president being a racist and not even realizing that that racism is not even hurting the people he wants it to hurt. That's why I always say racism makes you dumb. Racism makes you stupid. It forces you to narrow your thought process. It forces you to limit your belief. You only think the world can work a certain type of way. You can't even conceptualize that the ideas being taught to you could be inaccurate. You don't even look for the truth. And this is why you end up in situations like these, where your president rolls back a resource, your president takes away an opportunity to help people in need, but all he ends up doing is hurting a lot of people who actually voted for him to be in that office.
You're going to have the biggest mass amount of homelessness in the history, not just of the USA, of the world, if we cut the program. So in my opinion, what'd you say? 2.2 million people, right, would be essentially homeless. No landlord's going to just accept you not paying them at that point, and expecting them to pay out of pocket is just unreasonable and unrealistic. So,
in America, there is a misconception about who is on welfare. Now, let me just say this. There is no one program in the United States that constitutes welfare. There are many social programs in the United States that are part of what the United States calls the social safety net, which is really not much of a safety net at all when you consider the meager benefits that people receive. So what I've decided to do is look quickly at the statistics from the last census. Now, this holds true going back, but actually in the last 20 years, it has increased. The number of people receiving public benefits of some sort or another has increased amongst one particular demographic, and that is amongst white people. 20 years ago, 61% of all the people receiving public benefits of some kind in the United States were white people. Today, or as of 2022, or as the last census, 76.2% of all the people receiving some form of public benefit were white people. And the rest were people of color, 13, people of Asian extraction, 6%, give or take, and people of Hispanic, somewhere down in the middle there. So let's just talk about what constitutes public benefits. So I'm going to read this list here, and this is what makes up all of welfare, if you will, in the United States: Medicaid, SNAP, WIC, free or reduced price school meals, SSI, TAANF, energy aid, rental subsidies, unemployment compensation, and assorted other programs. So 40 million people in the United States live in poverty, and that number approximately is the number of people who receive public benefits of some kind. And of course, that varies when you include Social Security recipients, Medicare, et cetera, which is not it's an earned benefit. So I'm going to eliminate that for the moment. So of those people, the number of people receiving public benefits, welfare, if you will, some form of social program, social safety net support, as I said, 76.2% are whites. So I think this is important to remember when people start talking out of their ass.
Guess which race has the highest percentage of people on Section 8?
So the vast majority are definitely Caucasian. And I only know this because I've been a Section 8 investor the last 10 years. And I'm going to share the dirty secret about how some of these folks are still living six-figure lifestyles while qualifying for government assistance. 7 years ago, I had an 8-figure mentor teach me all about leveraging OPM and trust structures. Now, his friends and associates have been gaming the system using these trust structures for decades. They're using other people's money and credit to buy these assets that the trust structures own. All the income that's coming from these assets are going directly to the trust. As a trustee, they can pay themselves a little bit of nothing every year, therefore qualifying for Section 8 or government assistance if they choose to. The income also allows these trustees to pay for trust expenses. Think about all the needs of a beneficiary: school, clothing, daycare, shelter, you name it. Now they also have the resource to set up something like a private family bank. So while you're getting judged on your W-2 income, they're able to pay themselves based on the acceptable poverty levels. Now, to help as many people as possible, I did 2 things. One, I created a 10-minute training, completely free, shows you exactly how the system works. The second thing I did was take everything my mentor taught me and I put the entire blueprint into a book. So if you want to learn how to leverage a trust and other people's money in the next 30 days, click the link in the bio for access.